Hello everyone, and welcome to this, our inaugural, first ever episode for the Hellenic Community of Ottawa podcast. I am Kleanthi Hapitas, and I will be your host and moderator for this inaugural premiere episode. And joining me here today, our spiritual leader, Father Alex Michalopulos. We also have joining us today, Ioanna Karlis and Adoni Vassilyadi. The theme for this first ever episode will be about our church and our youth. We do intend to follow up with additional episodes. We have a very vibrant and thriving Hellenic community here in Ottawa. Many topics that we could explore and dive into. But for today, we'll start with our church and our youth. Father, let's start with you.
Very good.
You've been with us a long time, a fair number of years. And we can get into that just north of 30, right? If I've got my math
yes, indeed.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And the history of our church precedes that, of course. This beautiful building that we're sitting in today has a history of about 50 years or so. And of course, the history of our church as an entity and the bedrock of our community goes even before that. I'd love if you can help our audience, give our audience a glimpse of a little bit of that history, and also particularly your role in it and your time in it as our spiritual leader.
Of course, thank you very much. Beautiful timing of beginning a podcast. I think is very important, and we thank you for being the moderator of it, and thank all those who are part of this podcast. Thank you so much for everything you do for our community here and our church, of course. A little bit of the history of even the community. The first Hellenes that came here came in and established the Hellenic Community of Ottawa in 1929. So, the first church was completed in 1975. So the first priest that was here was Father Gavrilis. He was here for a few years, very few years. And then we had Father Demerutis, who unfortunately, very shortly after he was a priest here, he passed away in the Lord. And then we had, of course, Father Philip Ramphos, who was here quite a few years, God rest his memory, and wonderful man, wonderful Byzantine chanter. He was a professor of Byzantine music, actually, at Holy Cross School of Theology. And then they brought him to Canada to teach Byzantine music. And he was ordained and came to Ottawa. Bishop Sotirios, who was elected Bishop of Canada in 1974, brought Father here. And of course, Father Ramphos, after a few years, he got ill. Father Athanasiadis took over for just about a year and a half or so. And then Father Nicholas came from Greece for about 8.5 years. So I came to Ottawa in May 15th, 1992, and with Presbytera and our two daughters, Alexia and Nicoletta, at that time. They were babies, and we came to Canada. We immigrated to Canada from the United States. I was a priest in Oklahoma City, and the bishop was trying to bring me here for a few years before, but always in big cities, and I'm not very friendly with big cities because I grew up in big cities.
Yes.
So I wanted a small city, so when he offered me Ottawa, I was very, very delighted because I also have some family here. It's been 33.5 years, or 32.5 years. It's going to be 33 years in May, actually.
Right.
May 15th is going to be 33 years. So with Presbytera, when we came to the parish here, she was, because of our children too, she put together all the little bit of the youth that we have still today, the play group for the mothers with their babies, then the junior, the Joy, actually, the Joy, and the junior Goya. We did have somehow a kind of a senior Goya here, and we kind of strengthened it. And throughout the years, we even have a young adult group, which Adoni here is, I would say, the kind of the helper and the founder of this group. We had other years also some young adult groups, but because of the lives of the young adults, the university work and everything kind of died off. And Adoni was so kind, and he revived again the young adults, and I think we have a very good, vibrant group. So, this beautiful church of ours that, from the time that was completed in 1975, we had quite a few more iconography done. We see around our church's icons that because of the love of the people, I would ask someone to donate an icon, and 10 people will come wanting to donate an icon, and thank God we have all these icons. And that is because of the love of our people. We have a great church community here in Ottawa. I am, in the good sense of pride, very proud of our people, very proud of our youth, and we're continuously growing here in Ottawa. When I first came here, we had about 600 families, and even less than that, I would say. But we grew up to today with the surrounding families. We have about 2,000 families in the Ottawa and surrounding areas. So we are a very, as you said, very vibrant community. We, throughout the years, I think that we have strived, and people have known us also for the spirituality of the community, the church community, but also for our Greek festival, which is very known, not only here in Ottawa and in Gatineau and Montreal, Toronto, but upstate New York. People come from all over the place every year, and they look forward, to our philoxenia, I would say, here in Ottawa. So the youth, we have a very good youth, and a very good Sunday school, and Ioanna here is one of not only the teachers, but the assisting in putting together the program with Mrs. Anastasia Lira Vassilyadi, which is Adoni's mom. She wears many hats around here, but we thank God that we have people like her and like Adoni and like Ioanna, many others that assist us. I think that in the later years we had a very also vibrant board of directors, mostly young families that were in our board of directors, and now we have a lot of youth, very good young adults, young married adults, I would say, some with children, some not having children yet, and some singles that are doing a fantastic job here in our community. I'm very proud of their work. A lot of things have happened, as we all know, here in our church community, but we continue to strive and continue to work for the better of our community, our church, and our spirituality, which is the most important part of all.
Thank you very much, Father, for those lovely comments and the brief history of our church here in Ottawa. And I just wanted to take a second and touch upon some of the things you brought forward, the hope and the junior programs that we have here in Ottawa. I know I arrived in Ottawa from Montreal shortly after you got here, and one of my fondest memories was discovering that there was a preschool education program that my first son, our newborn at the time, was able to participate in, and it was lovely. And then these children participating from a very young age and having roots within our church. I see years and years later, as you mentioned, they grow up and they become board members, right? And they continue on that tradition, which is awesome, and it's amazing to see.
Yes, indeed, and also many of those who are serving as board of directors in our church community, I baptized many of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Many of them are served in the altar with me, and now they are members of the board of directors, and I am very proud for that.
And I'm sure you've started baptizing some of their children as well.
Definitely, I married them and I baptized their children. Yes, and we continue.
Yes. Let's move over to Ioanna Karlis, who's involved in our Sunday school program here at the Hellenic community of Ottawa. And Ioanna, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Hellenic school,
Sure.
The Sunday school, and your role in it?
Yeah, so for me personally, I started off Sunday school as more of like a way to get volunteer hours for high school, I'm not gonna lie. But then it turned into something more, like something that I enjoyed coming to each week. I enjoyed interacting with the children and just like teaching them about our faith and all of that. So it definitely snowballed into something bigger and something that I do appreciate now more than I did when I was like 15, 16 years old, just looking for volunteer hours.
Right.
So after church or after communion, the kids come downstairs, they have their little snacks, and then we break off into different ages. So right now, me and my co-teacher Maria, we teach kindergarten to grade 2. So with our little group, we let them have their snacks, and then we go over sort of either the gospel or just anything we feel like the children should know more about, and we really try to adapt it to their level and just put it in a way that they will understand, because some of the things we talk about in church are very complicated, and some of them are only 5, 6 years old, so it's a little bit harder for them to kind of know this stuff. So we try to make it fun for them and try to make it just make sense in their little brains. And then we try and normally incorporate like a little interactive activity or a craft or just something they can draw, they can color. Sometimes we have group activities and we have guest speakers for the Sunday school.
Okay.
So they'll come in with an amazing idea and they'll do kind of like a group Sunday school lesson with all the kids of all the different ages. And it'll be super interactive and the kids are super into it. They're asking questions. And I think, personally, I think a way that we can get more involvement with the Sunday school, I think it really starts with the parents and bringing their children to church first and then allowing them after to come downstairs to Sunday school. I just feel like a lot of people don't know that Sunday school is happening still, since we are kind of reduced since after COVID. But yeah, for sure, just parents bringing their children and encouraging them, saying Sunday school is so much fun, you're gonna meet new people, because me too, I met a lot of my good friends through not only Sunday school, but Greek school, Greek dance, and things like that.
Okay.
So I think it's just amazing if parents can start, bringing their children and then encouraging them to go downstairs. Because it's a fun time in Sunday school. We try and keep it as interactive and as engaging for the children,
Right.
so they'll want to come back.
Thanks, Ioanna. And of course, it's a key for young children, right? It's an important aspect of their spirituality and getting to know our community and our church. But it's got to be fun a little bit as well, right? As you mentioned, there are other things that take up their attention. I know I've got a little girl, and between the regular school that she goes to, and then the Greek dance on a Monday night, the Greek Hellenic school, the language school on a Saturday, getting them to come back yet again one more day can be challenging. I'm sure many of our parents have or know what I'm speaking about. So yes, keeping it engaging and keeping it fun is certainly the way to go for sure. Ioanna, one other thing to mention before we move on. You said they start at the junior and kindergarten level, and you have some of the younger ones. Just let our audience know, until what age does the program continue? Until what age can they have their children participate in Sunday school?
So Sunday school runs from anywhere to kindergarten to grade 8.
Okay.
And then usually as they age out in grade 8, we encourage them to come back as assistants to the Sunday school to really keep them coming to church and keep their involvement with the Sunday school. And it really helps to have a lot of young people there, because I feel like they can relate more with the children and they'll understand more what they can benefit from, and more interactive and more engaging ways to teach them and just make them want to come back. But anywhere up to grade 8.
Also, we encourage those children that have finished the grade 8 to come and assist in the altar, come to the choir, and of course, as Ioanna said, also teaching, assisting the Sunday school, like Ioanna did too. She was in Sunday school. If she finished Sunday school, then she was an assistant, and then she became the teacher, and also assist with Mrs. Vassilyadi with the running the Sunday school too. So
Right, yeah, thank you. And we can tell here this is not Father Alex's first interview. That was the perfect segue into the next segment that we want to discuss. And yeah, certainly, no doubt, with all the children seeing and hearing about what's happening in our church. And I know they've been looking up here and seeing our other guest, Adoni, as a fixture up here for many, many years. I know I can't recall a time when I was looking up here and did not see Adoni. And Adoni, why don't you share with us a little bit about your experience as an altar assistant here, right? And a little bit about that, and maybe even tell us, perhaps did you aspire to it and watching others, maybe while you were in Sunday school?
Well, thank you, and it's been a great conversation so far. Regarding myself, my brother used to be an altar boy too back in the day. My brother's much older, and I remember as a kid I'd always see my brother in the altar, sometimes reading the epistle, and I just knew that one day I'd have the opportunity to serve in the altar as well. I just didn't know when that would happen. As you guys mentioned, a lot of Sunday school students, the boys, they usually start in grade 7, grade 8 going to the altar, but my experience actually started earlier. I'm not sure if Father Alex remembers, but I remember once I was in church with my mom for a Vesper service. And there is no altar assistance this day, and the senior priest was doing the service of Father Alex. And what I remember is I was just in the pews, and Father Alex just opened that door right over there, and he said, "Come to the altar." And I was like, whoa, what do you mean come into the altar? So I was very nervous at that point. I didn't know what to expect, but my mom was beside me and said, "You can't just leave Father Alex hanging, you gotta go inside the altar." So I went inside, I just trusted my gut and saw where it would lead me, and then now I'm the head altar assistant. I've been here for many, many years, and that was my first experience in the altar. And of course, I continued going more often into the altar throughout the summer, and even as a grade 7, grade 8 student in Sunday school, I'd go to the altar first and then come down to Sunday school afterwards. And for myself, I really loved it, and it was a great experience, especially when you're serving with other boys your age. It builds that friendship you have with many of the boys in your community, and a lot of the boys I've served with in the altar, I'm still very good friends with to this day. Right. I think a lot of altar boys can relate that your first few times in the altar is very nerve-wracking because you're in, there's so much high expectations. I find you have so much respect for the church, so much respect for the altar. When you're finally having the opportunity to go inside and serve, there's a lot of expectations, I think. But honestly, after your first few times, you really find out it's a really amazing experience, and it's a big honor to be serving the altar. And of course, standing here on guard for, whether it's the gospel, going around leading the church to the great entrance, serving all the parishioners through communion, and helping the church in many other aspects. And one of my fondest memories is serving the altar during Great Lent, during Holy Week. There are many services that happen here, and many opportunities that the altar boys can get involved in the altar. Whether it's on Holy Thursday where we were standing outside for 12 Gospels straight, for many Gospels at a time, and leading the processions. And that's always something that I look forward to, especially serving the altar, because there'd be so many services to be in attendance for. And I always ask my friends, like, "Hey, are you going to be in church this Sunday, or come to church for the services for Holy Week?" And that really built upon friendships that I had in the altar as well.
If that kind of account of your experience up here as an altar assistant doesn't inspire the next generation of altar assistants, I don't know what will. Yeah. So thank you, Adoni, for sharing that. And I just wanted to get all of your thoughts, maybe for a quick second or a moment from each of you, about the importance of our youth and engaging with our church and our community in the very many different ways that they can do so, and on the importance of it as we go forward.
I think we always have a great quote within our community that we often mention in regards to the board of directors or just the youth in general. The youth not only the future, but they are the present, yes. Right? How could there be a future with youth if they're not present in the church at this moment? And luckily, growing up, with my family, it wasn't just a matter if we're going to go to church on Sunday. It was part of our lifestyle. It was an expectation that every day we're waking up to church, to participate in church and help out in whatever capacity we can. So in my sense, it's natural for me to be coming every Sunday to help out. And I encourage youth, to explore, come to church, see what it's like. The service on Sunday, getting involved through cultural activities, through Greek dance, Greek school if you're in that age range as well. There's so many ways to get involved in the community, but I think the most important and most honorable way is to get involved in the church. And that, from my experiences, that's been a life-changing experience for myself.
It's also really important for us as like young adults to show up for the future youth. Because, you know, we teach Greek dance, we're there on Mondays, we're there to teach them and hopefully grow their love for dance and want to make them continue through Odyssey and just through their lives with dance. You know, the Greek school teachers, they show up on Saturday mornings so that the kids can learn the language and continue that. I think it's just really important for, like I said, people our age and just adults to foster an environment that allow for these youth to grow and want to continue growing within the church, within the culture, within the religion, things like that.
That's one thing that I'm very proud of our youth. For example, Adoni and Ioanna, you know, members of the dancing troupe, you know, here in our community, and teachers of dancing, and being involved with all that, and being very open-minded people. And that's what the church needs today, open-minded people, and people that love, you know, their faith, love their tradition, love their language. And it's not just the Greek, you know, but it's the Orthodox that brings us together, orthodoxy. And these young people that have been, you know, coming here since their birth and growing up in the church and in the community. It's very important because they are the continuation too, the present and the continuation. And I also want to say that about the altar assistants that we have. We started with the Mirophores on, you know, Holy Week, and now we have the Mirophores serving on Sundays and in other services. And I think that is, you know, to be open and to be welcoming to our young people, our young ladies too, that like to serve, of course, outside of the altar, but they are here to serve our Lord. And it's very important. Just like our choir, we have a lot of youth in our choir too. So all these things are important for the life of, you know, of the person, of the spirituality of each one of us. And we grow in faith, and we grow, you know, together as one family here in Ottawa.
Well put. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Ioanna, and thank you, Adoni, both for taking time to be here and help us with this, our inaugural episode of the podcast for the Hellenic community of Ottawa. And we do, as I mentioned before, plan to do more of them. This will be viewable through our YouTube channel. And I encourage everybody watching, and we'll certainly pass the word to everybody, but take the moment to leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Did you enjoy it? I know I certainly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. What did you think? Did you like certain aspects of it? Do you have ideas for future episodes? What would you like to see going forward from this podcast as we move beyond the premiere? Let us know in the comments of the YouTube video. Let us know when you see us anytime. And we hope to be back again. And we'll be on another theme and another topic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all. And thank you all for joining and watching.